Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Joffrey Noodle Legs here today with another Noodle film review. Today we're looking at the 80s classic Brain Damage. Classic, I don't know about that, but we were looking at Brain Damage. So this is the Arrow edition, which is really cool. It's got quite a few lots of extra features on there. Single disc, not the first pressing, so it hasn't got the booklet or anything with it, but it's just a normal edition of the movie from Arrow, and it's still really cool. Right, so just give you a little synopsis. Okay, the film starts off with an old couple, and we're at their house, and he arrives home with a little package of food, and he opens it, and it seems to be brains. I think it's like animal brains or whatever, and I think they've got some creature or something that they feed in the brains to. Anyway, they go to feed the animal and it's gone missing. It's just absolutely gone missing. They don't know where it is. So then they absolutely tear in the house top to bottom trying to find it. Albert! Where are you? So whatever it is they're looking for has gone missing, but it's something extremely important to them. And we'll discover what it is a little bit later in this video. Anyway, the film then cuts to a different department in the same apartments building, and it's a young girl's arrived at I think it's two brothers sharing a flat, and she's arrived to go and see her boyfriend, who's one of the brothers, and he appears to be asleep. Sleep? Yeah. Great. So. Ryan? Ryan? Come on, Ryan, we have to leave here in a few minutes. You look awful. I feel awful. Are you sick? I wasn't before. Just laid down for a quick nap, and all of a sudden my head is spinning and I'm too dizzy to move. So there we've met Brian, who's like the main character in the film. Now he's really out of it. It's like really sort of wakes up spaced out, not knowing where it is, and he's supposed to be going to a concert with his girlfriend. Anyway, he says he's not up for it, doesn't feel well, and tells her to go with her brother. So they both go off to the concert, and while they're out, Brian sort of like has a sort of like don't know, he just feels out of it and trying to find out what's going on, and he sort of like wakes up, looks, and he's got blood on his hand. So he's woken up and he's sort of like in shock, thinking, where does this blood come from? So he rushes to the bathroom and has a look in the mirror. What the hell's happening to me? And as you can see, he's sort of like behaving kind of weirdly. He's kind of like, not saying he's enjoying it, but it almost feels like he's tripping, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Anyway, so he then goes back to the bed and lays on the bed, and then it looks like he's having a trip. Then he goes back to the bathroom again and sees all this sort of strange thing, like the bath is full of bath water, and he feels like there's someone in the room with him. So he asks them to show themselves.
Okay. I know there's someone else here. I don't know who you are, and I don't know what you are, but I know you're in here. So you may as well come on out. Come on out, let me see you. Hi.
So say hello to Elmer. Okay, that's Elmer. It's a strange thing. I don't know what it is supposed to be. If it's like a brain stem, or if it's like a sort of parasite or whatever. But it's living on Brian, and then Brian starts talking to it.
What are you?
I am you, Brian. I'm all you'll ever need.
I don't understand.
You will, Brian. From now on, your life will take on a whole new light. And all you have to do is look into the light and listen. Listen to the light, Brian. Just listen to the light.
Yes, I'd like to again, but I don't see it now.
Then I'll make you a deal. I'll show you the light if you'll take me for a walk.
A walk. Where?
Anyway.
So Elmer said to Brian, we know that his life's going to change now. Now he's got him. This is the thing that's escaped the old couple that they were keeping. Now he asked to go onto Brian's back, so Brian puts on his back, and Brian's got like a small like wound, like a hole in the back of his neck, and the Elmer sort of opens his mouth, and it's like this little long thin thing goes through and into Brian's head, and sort of releases like blue fluid onto his brain, which gives a little electric sort of shocks, and it gives Brian a real sort of heavy trip. And yeah, and so obviously Brian starts to like that, and Brian goes out running around the streets, and all he sees everywhere is like colours.
Oh my God, wow!
So Brian almost feels like he's at a rave, and he starts jumping about and going woo, screaming, and then the security guard of the carpool hears him. Anyway, so the security guard approaches them with a gun, which is weird, and sort of pulls Brian over the bonnet and sort of does a search and finds the thing on him, which is obviously Elmer. And Elmer jumps up and lands on the forehead of the security guard, and sort of there's a big tussle with Elmer and the security guard. And the security guard has a grisly end, and Elmer eats his brain. Because that's what Elmer lives on, is brains. Now, I believe the old family have been feeding him on animal brains to sort of suppress his sort of like way he is. But if he's on human brains, I think he's sort of like comes sort of like addicted to it and overpowered. So he's managed to get the security guard's brain and ate it. Then it cuts back to the flat where Brian's brother and his girlfriend return from the concert. I believe Brian's at home now in bed, and his brother's telling him all the weird stuff that's going on, like the buckets of water everywhere and the bathtub full of water and stuff. So, and he's just sort of showing the girlfriend all the sort of weird stuff that's happening around Brian.
Let me show you something. Look at this.
When he's down the front door.
Yeah, but he only locks these when he's in there.
Why? What's he hiding?
I don't know. The only thing new are those pails down there. He changes the water 4 times a day. I'll show you something else. Look at this. He's got the bathroom all bolted up, too. Hey, he's become a real stickler for privacy.
Have you asked him about any of this?
Yeah.
What did he say?
He says he's been feeling a little bit lighter.
We then cut a little bit further down the film now, because I don't want to just do you step by step. And Brian and his girlfriend have gone out for dinner. He's trying to tell her about all the sort of strange stuff that's going on and how wonderful things are. And she's just not getting it. She's just thinking, what on earth's going on? And Brian does try to tell her about Elmo, but Elmo does something that stops him from telling her. And so she sort of, you know, well, why don't you tell me? And in the end, Brian gets up and walks out the restaurant.
No trail.
No trails?
None. Sometimes I can see completely. Sometimes everything glows with a different kind of light. I can touch an object and listen to the sound of its color. I can hear voices and music at the flicker of a match. I can look into a mirror and see 1,000 different faces staring back at me. I can turn night into day or watch the darkness shine, and I don't even have to open my eyes.
You're on drugs, right?
So he goes out and he goes wandering the streets again. And he stumbles across like a sort of a punk band sort of club. And there's a band playing there. And he goes in, and then he meets another young girl in there who seems to like the look of him. And he's all jumping all over the place, and they have a dance, and Brian kisses her, and they go outside for a bit of you know what. And here we come to one of the infamous scenes from Brain Damage, where the girl is trying to sort of like be intimate with him, and then Brian, Elmo, attacks her through the mouth. It's very graphic, okay? It's you know, anyway, and he pretty much sucks her brain out through her mouth, and sort of like she gets killed too. Sorry about that, I hit the off button on me thingy. Yeah, so she gets killed, and then Brian sort of finds out that what's sort of happening, that this thing that he's got with him, Elmo, is killing people. He didn't, because he was being out of it like on a trip. He doesn't realise, but then he finds out, and then he bumps into the old man or woman who say to him, look, you know, because you're feeding it human brains, it's going out of control and it will take over you. Anyway, so he tries to suppress Elmo and go through what sort of like cold turkey, but it just doesn't work out for him. And again, it just loads of sort of things happen throughout the film where people get attacked by Elmo and Elma. Sorry, not Elmo. It's not fucking Sesame Street. Elma. Anyway, so he gets attacked. He keeps attacking people, and then his brother starts having intimate encounters with his Brian's girlfriend, and then Brian's girlfriend that sort of follows him to the subway and sort of tries to say to him, look, I want things to work out.
Anything. You don't have to look at me. Listen to me, please. I know you're in trouble. I know something's happened to you. I know you need help. I just... Jesus, Brian. I thought you and I were having trouble with our relationship. I didn't think you'd be talking about getting killed or killing someone or... I can understand you being upset with me. I realize we have some problems with our relationship. But first, Brian, you need help. I've never seen anyone change as drastically and as suddenly as you have. You're like a total stranger to me now. And I'll be damned if I'm going to just walk off and let you rot away.
So how cool was that? Did you spot that there? That little nod there. If you know the film, A Basket Case, you can see that the guy from Basket Case sat opposite Brian there, which was really cool. Anyway, Brian then sort of kisses the girl on the on the train there, and she gets killed by Elma. And that's all I'm going to tell you. So this is an absolute crazy, wacky film, what a crazy, wacky idea. And it is made by the same people that made Basket Case. So that's why it's still got that same sort of wacky sort of feel about it. So what do I feel about the film? I thought it's really cool, really good fun. I really enjoyed the film. A lot better than what I remembered. I remember seeing it years ago, and I wasn't really that impressed by it because I thought the effects were pretty daft and stupid in it. But yeah, and they still are, but they're cool at the same time. And I thought, what a mad idea. Where did it come from? Yeah, and it's a really cool watch. It's a good fun sort of one of those sort of wacky 80s horrors, like Street Trash, Basket Case, Class of Nukem High. It's along those sort of wacky sort of horrors from the 80s, which there was loads of in the 80s, and they're all great. Reanimator, all these sort of really crazy films, really good. The pluses of this one, the transfer is gorgeous, really good transfer. It looks stunning and amazing. The acting, I love it. It's got a bit of a black comedy feel to it, which I love. I loved all the characters in it. I think they played really well parts. The effects are really bad, but I love them too. They're really cool, and the gore is amazing. There's a lot of gore in it. It's really gory. The infamous scene with the girl in the alleyway is hysterical. I can't show you that because PrudeTube would take my video down. And it's just such good, and I love the nod to Basket Case. In fact, there were two in there. There was that one there, and earlier on, at one point, he goes to a hotel because he wants to get away because he's, to go through the cold turkey. And the hotel room he goes to is number 7, which was it's a different hotel, but it's the same door number that that was in Basket Case. So that's sort of like another little nod to Basket Case. I love that. That's really cool. The minuses of the film, yeah, the effects can be a little bit tacky and look a bit silly in some places. Like the water thing, you remember in the clip. And there's some other silly little effects that look a bit daft. But it adds charm, doesn't it? It's not really a negative. It adds charm. I'm going to score this film a great watch and give it an 8 out of 10. I'll highly recommend it if you like your horrors, your 80 horrors, a little bit different, not like the slasher movies or stuff like that. You like them, that sort of like obscure, sort of wacky storylines, you know, which I do, like Toxic Avenger and things like that. I love all those sort of things. So I'm giving that an 8 out of 10. Great film. That's Brain Damage. Have any of you guys seen it? If you have, let me know down below what you thought of it. I thought it was amazing fun. I had a great time watching it last night. And I even watched one of the special features there when they went over the locations, looking for the locations where it was filmed. I love things like that. I love when they have special features like that. There's one of those on the Don't Go in the House Arrow film. They've got like, they go back to the locations of the film, and I love that sort of thing. It just brings an extra sort of thing, you know, because fans love to see that, and I know some fans go to visit that house in that film. So, but that's a great film, really worth watching, guys. I really recommend it to you. Please go and check out some horror channels for me when you get a chance. Check out Horror Hands, check out the Horror Geek, Man v Film, RS Designs, I Am the Ice Lord, Pizzawell, and Sarah of Horror. All great channels. Please check them out, guys. Until next time, look after yourselves, look after one another, and I really hope I'll see you all soon.